Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads. So, as always, our disclaimer is that this is an adult podcast featuring some adults that use adult language. You have been warned. There's no one here to say the normal thing. So, so, let's get on to the rest of our announcements. As far as things going on, we have Patron. We have our patronage going on Patreon for both Black Dragon Gaming and the Inn of Planar Crossroads. You can check either of those out and support us if you wish. There are certain tiers for each one, and we will see how that all works. You can see how that all works on those different areas. Our current session is session 41 of Rise of the Runelords, and we are going to be picking up with Gideon and Gideon, Wayko, Mazus, Meg, and Aaron. There we go. Yeah, Aaron. The next subscriber one shot is going to be at 200, which we are a little less than 50 away from reaching. So 50-ish more subscribers, and you will get to see Colin run a game that he has kind of. Yeah, he has alluded to what he has alluded to what it's going to be about and what's going to take place in it, and it should be very entertaining to watch and play in. So, good luck getting us there. Should be good. The next monthly giveaway is going to be. Let me see. The last time was a Vivek statuette. This time is a $15 Steam credit. Steam credit. So if you have Steam, we are giving away a $15 credit code to add to your Steam wallet. So you can become a Patreon at the giant tier or higher and get in on that. As far as new things coming out, we are going to get the last viewer appreciation one shot has been completely sent to me. I've got half of it already set up and ready to go. All I've got to do is get it uploaded. So assuming that YouTube cooperates with me, we will be able to have that up probably the first one this Friday and just add it every day after that to go ahead and get it out for people. St. Louis Comic-Con is happening, and we're going to be there in June. So June, we will be there. Let me see. Colin is coming. Greg is iffy. Probably not for Greg because he probably will have school stuff. Kane will be there.
Probably.
And Tommy will be there. Kane better be there, man. I bought the ticket already.
Oh, I'll PayPal you $20 if I don't make it.
and then Tommy from Black Dragon Gaming and Joe from Black Dragon Gaming. So it should be fun. And Addy has said that he is up for playing a game with you guys. He's excited about getting to play a live game with you guys. So it should be interesting to run for everybody at the same time in person.
Shazbot.
Shazbot.
Dingleberry.
What the fudge nugget? All right. So, all that being said, we will do an announcement for Black Dragon Gaming since they are not. Tommy's not here right this moment. He has a giveaway subscriber appreciation thing going on, and he's trying to get to a certain subscriber amount. He's reached a certain subscriber amount to run this to have the second edition of Pathfinder as a giveaway. Some of the playtest materials as a giveaway. He is trying to get up to a certain patronage so that he could take a day off from work and run a set of people through it. So, if you want to see that happen, pretty much right when Second E comes out for Pathfinder, then you can go over to his Patreon and support him in that way. So, there we go. With all of that happening, I believe that's everything. Anybody else have any announcements before we get into the game?
Nope, I ain't got nothing.
Nada.
Wayko
Other than I'm
covers
glad.
Meg in snakes.
Yeah, he has Swarm. He doesn't really, because I didn't prepare that. But had he prepared Swarm, he would have just covered Meg in snakes.
That may not have ended well. But my announcement, Coconut
She's a
cookies,
griffin. She just eat the
delicious.
snakes.
Coconut cookies. I've started drinking more water, everybody. That's a pretty big deal.
Can we get the
And
Stay
now-
Hydrated bot from Twitch and Roll20?
All right. Okay. I think announcements have been sufficiently said with that. Let's go ahead and get into the game.
This isn't really an announcement. Did the editing come out all right on all those parts that I sent you, Adam? Because like I can't fix them now.
I believe they did. I will make sure as I go through them, but they should be good. The last ones you sent were good. So
Okay.
we should be okay. Let's go ahead and start the game. So, last session, or when last we left our heroes, to borrow from Coville, we had quite an event in the life of, we had two very big events in the life of Magpie and Emmy, as well as Nahkräs. Magpie and Emmy got married and had their egg, and Nahkräs delivered it, which was a big deal for him. So a whole bunch of furry action happened last time.
Oh,
So we're going to start with the other group.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys clickbait.
It is what it is.
You can see you can see Magpie and Emmy at the furry portion of the St. Louis Comic Con on June 23rd.
I mean, yeah, screw it. Why not? I'll hang out on that end of the convention hall. You don't scare me.
All right, there we go. So that all happened last game, and it was pretty cool, pretty good. A lot of firsts happened that game. Between A and B team, I guess that was A team. So B team went down with Gideon, Wayko, and Mazus, and their accoutrement that goes with them, down to Magnamar. They had a weird incident during the night, but didn't quite figure out where what was going on or anything. So that's still kind of hanging over their head a little bit. I'm sure Gideon kind of like, what happened back there type thing. But other than that, it just seems to have, everything seems to have quieted down. They made it to the mayor, the Lord Mayor, who is sending them out to check Turtleback Ferry and the fort that is there. Excuse me, Fort Rennick. So they're supposed to go to the Black Arrows. This is a bit of a flashback because we're going to pick up with Group B making their way. They have they stayed the night over at Magnamar just to rest up and get ready to go. So they went. Was there anything that you guys absolutely needed to do in Magnamar before the departure? The Lord Mayor offers graciously for everyone who had wished to stay in the manor.
Hard pass. No, hard pass. Hard pass. Wayko might have.
Wayko's
pump the
like,
brakes.
I really shouldn't. And then he goes. He had to think about it, but no. Responsibilities and whatnot.
Oh yes, I completely understand. Perhaps.
Plus, I'd
next
love to
time.
see if I could get a saddle on Gideon's apprentice.
Yeah, that'll go well.
Weller than the snakes.
Not necessarily.
All right.
But the big thing for Gideon is going to be stopping off at the Iomedean Temple, definitely before heading out, just to see if he can pick up those pieces of paper that were found, if any translation that was done on those, and as well as let them know regarding the incident with Nawalia firsthand, like what the experience was, as well as the what he thinks is potentially a will-o'-the-wisp or some sort of spirit on the road between Sandpoint and Magnamar, and seeing if they can potentially up the security between the two places.
Okay. As far as increasing the security, they're a bit strapped at the moment, but they can see what they can do. You do talk to Paladin Dance, and he says, yeah, it's good you're going out that way because we haven't heard back from the scout we sent out there. It's should have been back by now, even with all the weather and stuff.
If I were to be looking for somebody by name, who should I be looking for?
Thane.
Huh?
Man, that was weird. Well, you could look for the guy named Thane, but I don't know if he's using a different name, going in there, hostile area type thing. If he's using an alias or something like that. So, but
What did he look like?
well, you
What
can
do you
look for
have
James Thane. He's got like this, got blonde hair, kind of shortcut, a bit of a goatee, and also blonde, and kind of average height. So, yeah.
So basically me, but instead of full beard, the goatee.
Oh, yeah, kind of not as muscled either.
Or like an
not-
evil version of you.
maybe a little shorter.
Very well. We will keep an eye and see what we can find for you.
All right, that's good. As far as the stuff, it seemed like you're asking about the translation and the deciphering of the stuff found in the sawmill.
No, the stuff that we found in New Alia's hotel room or inn room, because that had been left with them.
Right.
If you don't have that prepared, I will take it later.
No, I know what it was. It looked like a bunch of notes, mainly about a certain ritual. The ritual required was obviously for Lamash 2, and they have since destroyed all the notes that would lead someone, if they read it, to how to do the ritual. It discussed certain specific runes, and that she got it. She likely got it through the black market here in Magnamar. No one really knows where that is with the Iomedaean Temple, so they can't do anything about it. But as far as that goes, that's mainly what it was. Those notes about that. The ingredient list, to pure innocence, ready for corruption type thing. Dogs, the more feral, the better.
Okay.
Was there anything else we needed to do in town before we ventured forth? Okay. Before leaving town that night, Erin would have asked to go out for the evening if she could, and if you didn't stop her, she would go on out.
Sure. Just be back by, depending on when she goes out, a reasonable time.
A reasonable. You say just be back in a reasonable amount of time. Okay. So she says she assures you she will be back in a reasonable amount of time, and she does get back before midnight. So she leaves out and eventually returns. Smells a bit of alcohol, and sweetbreads and things like that. But she does come back just fine, and Baron is with her, sour mooded as always. So unless Wayko has something to do, we're going to start out.
I do not.
Okay, so the next day has started, and you guys are venturing forth. So you are basically, mechanically speaking, you're all healed up. All spells and stuff like that are back and such. And you are headed along the Yondabakari River. Let's go ahead and have who hasn't rolled it? Mal hasn't rolled a D100 in a while.
No, I was generally. It was generally considered a bad idea after the first kind of big one.
Let's see if your luck holds true.
All right, and we have a 13.
Okay,
That's a lucky number.
there you go.
Does that mean we get
13
fish? Or they get fish? We could have been buying fish.
You probably
And I'm already hungry. Give me a break.
probably are getting ready to eat fish. But no, we'll say that he may have a fish. So this is a bit of a normal. You have an easy time making your way along the Yondabakari River. There's a road that follows it. Let me go ahead and actually share that or reshare it so people can be refreshed on what they were
Maps?
looking at.
Maps? Maps!
Maps. So you guys are are traveling along the Yondabakari River, and it kind of winds along there, and you're making it along pretty easily. So you're moving along. You're probably right there at that first lowest bend when you kind of see a light during the night as you're camping.
The same light we saw before?
It appears to be either similar or the same. It's kind of a different color now. Before it was kind of white, matching a bit of the snow. Now it appears to be a slightly greeny blue hue.
Mazus, you see that over there? That's what I saw last time.
Oh, Northern Lights?
This far south?
Wait, when did you see this last time? Like, when was this last time?
On our way to Magnamar.
Oh, it's not necessarily malevolent, I don't think.
Last time it had an evil presence to it.
Well, let's just make sure.
Can I try to ping it? Can I try to ping it again? Is it close enough for me to do so?
That's a 60-foot cone?
Yeah.
Or 30?
60.
So 60-foot cone, yeah, you could. It's the Yondabakari is you're still able to see across it. It kind of hovers out above the water a little bit, so you can get close enough to try and ping on it. And if you do, it still pings evil.
Mm-hmm. And this one has another evil presence to it. This feeling we're being followed. He'll actually, at the same time he's sort of saying that, though, this time around, just because of the fact that, Paladin can use this more than once now, I'm going to actually smite evil it.
Okay.
So it'll have that up there initially.
Okay. All right. So the smite evil, that lets you sense its presence. Am I correct as you get higher?
I don't know. Let me take a look at that. I don't believe so. I believe that's just sort of your general thing
that
going
may be
on.
Something from 5e.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just basically it gives me an AC boost. It gives me a better chance to hit and more damage against it.
Okay. I thought that's how it was, but I wanted to make sure. You see it and you kind of ping it. You make the necessary focused look at it, and you see it stop its motion and turn invisible.
I'll keep pinging the area to see if I can try to sort of follow it as it moves.
Okay.
To see if it's coming closer to us, kind of idea.
So it seems to stay there for several minutes, hover to the left a little bit, go up in front along the road, but through the longer you focus on it, the more it's just kind of milling about. It appears it'll drift up towards the higher part of the road, drift in towards the woods, drift around, kind of circle to the back of the thing. So if you just kind of keep following it, it'll just move around a little bit.
What do you make of this? The same thing happened on our way to Magnamar overnight.
Well, it would be natural for it to wait for us to fall asleep, I assume. Let's see if we can't make it at least leave us alone. He's going to summon a dire bat as close to the pinpointed location via Gideon's help.
Okay, so let me see what this creature does. You summon your bat with your motions and things like that. Everything remains invisible, and it kind of stops for a minute, flaps about a bit. You give it some instruction, I assume, to go and find what's out there, and it
kill whatever shit is keeping us busy.
So you do that, and it kind of looks around, echolocates and stuff like that, and it flies out that way and starts to go towards where it should be. And you see it kind of go after something. Roll me a D100.
It's got blind sense, does it not?
Yeah,
that's
which
right.
means any invisibility or things like that won't play a factor.
Okay, so you do that. You can roll me D20, and we can see what happens with the bat stats.
Oh, you want the attack? Because I have a macro for that. There's a 13 to hit.
Okay, you you think it may have done something because the thing doesn't become visible, but it starts to fly off. It gets out of the range of Gideon quite quickly, and the bat starts to follow it. Do you let the bat follow it into the woods or no?
No, just kill it. Kill it.
All right. All right. So, how many hit points does your little bat have?
Depends if we do max hit points, you know.
No, we're not going to do max hit points. That's for NPCs
in
only.
that case, it has 30.
30?
Yep.
Okay.
It also has a resistance if that applies.
To what?
To acid, cold, and electricity.
Okay. That does apply. So, you hear this in the woods way off. And let me see. You hear a big, loud, and that's it. Everything goes quiet.
All right. Well,
We might as well keep going. I'll keep an eye for it again, and I'll sort of keep pinging in that general direction to see if it,
Yep. Okie dokie.
Because unless somebody had magic missile to use on that thing, I don't think we were going to be able to hit it anywhere close to where it was.
Fair. So, let me see. You need to set up watch. Well, that counts as watch for tonight. So we'll go. You continue on. The next night, you see another light as you're making camp.
How far off?
It seems to stay about 70 feet away.
Okay. It appears to be the same sort of hovering light that it has been before, just clarifying.
And it doesn't stay on. It kind of blinks in and out.
Okay. Because it should not be able to feel it, he'll cast Smite Evil on it.
Okay.
And then he's going to prepare his bow low, and the next time it comes up, he'll fight Dragon's Light at it. Or Lightseeker, rather. Lightseeker.
Okay.
The next time it
So
flashes on.
Okay. So it's on, back on, and you want to fire?
Yep.
Okay. Fire away.
And he'll sort of, as he let looses, he'll go, over this way. And that is... So 27.
27 to hit?
Yeah.
All right, you hit. Roll me some damage.
Yeah, 16 plus 80 plus 3. Okay. I just want to pull it up. Because it's smoted. Smoothies. Okay, so that is 3 plus my paladin level 6 times 2, so
15 damage.
15 damage. You see that the creature, you see it feel what you did with the and a light flashes in the.
As long as it's either evil outsider, evil undead, or evil dragon. I'm not sure if it is or not. So for 15 damage it is, 9 damage it is not. Evil with a comma? Like evil outsider, comma, or is it like it has to be evil outsider? Yeah, it has to be evil and outsider. Yeah, if it's evil and outsider, or evil and undead, or evil and dragon. Gotcha. It gets that extra damage.
Gotcha. Okay. So you know it definitely felt what you did, and there is that light flash, but it goes invisible.
Okay.
As the arrow tears through it, and it does not seem to appear again that night.
That's an important question. Gideon buy Mazus the Scroll of Seeing Visibility for the...
Yeah, he already bought that for you.
Okay, in that case, I would have that.
Thing.
I would have that in my spellbook.
Okay.
There you go.
For tomorrow night.
Dun, dun, dun,
You
dun,
killed
dun,
the
dun,
floaty
dun.
dude.
All right. So you guys continue on. Seem to keep moving. Keeping an eye out for that creature of some description. And the third night, you're making great headway, actually. You're making good time. And you get that third day in, and right about, it's not quite sunset, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close to the time you would stop. you're coming across a part of the part of the road that gets close to a tributary that leads into the Yonda Bakari. And for some reason, pretty much as far as you guys know, out of the blue walks right in front of your thing a giant, or at least it's not a giant, excuse me. You guys have to identify what it is. But this thing starts to walk out in front of you. Now, you can notice it far enough off if you give me a good roll for your perception, and we will have it farther away from you.
I did crit fail on my perception, so Wayko's not paying attention to what's even in front of the cart.
Okay. Aaron is probably trying to argue with Wayko about the proper way to cast a certain spell.
He's just sticking his tongue out at her.
Oh, yes, that's very mature, Wayko. Very mature.
Only way I do it is mature. Hey, why'd we stop?
The 21 perception for Gideon.
Okay. You guys can see it about this far off from you then. We'll put it at that far away from them. And it just kind of walks out into the thing here, nice and calm, and says, "Oh, you pay, give tribute, or get eaten."
17 to identify the monstrous humanoid.
Okay, 17. Fairly easy. You've read about a few of the different types of giant. This one appears to be one that hails from marshy areas. So
The big mush. The mushlands. Mushman.
it's that freaky looking one that you find in the bestiary that has a mouth that goes vertical instead of horizontal.
Notch.
Swamp giant.
Gideon will turn to Meg because he personally expects her to probably charge the damn thing initially. So hold for a second. Let me see if I can resolve this peaceably. If not, I'll be up there ready to go. We'll hop down from the cart and start approaching slowly. I'm sorry, so who are we paying tribute to?
Me. Paying tribute to me.
And you would be, sir? I'm actually going to roll diplomacy to see if I can, aid this slightly.
Seems like a pretty big deal. I don't want to test him.
Nope. No. That guy is going in dice jail. I got a total for. It's a 1 on the die. It is an 8 modified.
An 8 modified. Oh goodness. So he seems to look at you kind of irritated and say, "Me gon' eat you. That's who me is." And he starts approaching. 5, 15, 20.
I could
All right, Gideon.
hurl a lightning bolt at his head.
You're just making this work.
Gideon will.
So let's. Okay.
Draw.
Oh no.
Might evil and draw.
Okay. So Gideon ticked him off with that upstart of a question. So he's like, he was already not very friendly, so you went down right down to combative. So he will get to initiate combat. Everybody,
He's bum rushing.
let me see. Add turn. Let me pull that up. Okay, turn order should be up for everyone. We'll just have your companions go on your turn. And we are starting at his initiative since he's initiating combat. Right off the bat for a failed diplomacy.
What can you do with a die does not like you tonight?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a good one.
You're +7.
Good at this.
+7. I have to put more points into it, though. I put a little too many into, I think, crafting last level.
There we go. Okay. So he strides right on
modifier? Or am I going
+3.
directly after him? Am I going directly after him, or am I going last then?
We'll move it up to where he's in front, and then you guys can go.
Sure.
So he's initiating the combat, and he's just gonna stride right on up and smack this upstart of a tasty pink skin, hopefully, along with the calming river waves. Do. So he's going to use this gaff that he's carrying to make his first swing at you. Does a 28 hit?
Yes, it does.
All right, he's gonna swing. He can't do a full attack because he moves so much. So 28 hits, and he's going to do 3 damage plus. So he does 15 damage to you
Okay.
with a smack. And there we go. That's what he's gonna do. Tenderize you first.
All right then. So he's what, 10 feet away from me right now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to. Gideon's going to 5-foot step in.
Okay.
He's going to cast Smite Evil
Okay.
as this Swift, and I don't know if I can still do a full attack at that point if I use a Swift. Can I?
As a swift action,
Yeah. Yep.
you
I can still.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will do a full round attack with Dragon's Light.
all right.
So again, unsheathing, going to get the
Dragon's Light.
first, real use out of this thing. And he's and he's going to come down with it. Power attack. First shot does 24 hit.
A 24 does hit.
Okay. For 20 damage.
All right.
Sorry, 20. Sorry, 20. Did Smite Evil actually lock in? Sorry.
Smite Evil works against dragons, outsiders, and
No,
Undead.
Smite Evil works on any evil creatures. It's the double damage is only on evil undead, evil dragons, or evil outsiders.
you see the light flash. Then yes.
So it does work. Okay. So that's still 24 hit. So that is a 26 damage. Sorry.
Okay. 26 damage. Slice right into its kind of blubbery, really pale flesh, and its black Icarus blood gets on the cobblestone road with a spike.
Okay. Second hit or second attack. Ooh. Another power attack again as well, always. So second iteration attack is a +5. So for a potential critical threat, does a 21 hit?
21 just hits.
So I'm rolling to confirm.
Okay.
Does not confirm because it's a 15, so it's just a standard hit. Power attack again.
Okay.
That's when it sucks when you actually get into your threat range on a secondary attack and you don't have the same BAB.
Nope.
So that is a 28 damage.
28. All right. So this thing's like that second one. It's kind of like kind of patting its guts to hold it in.
And is Meg attacking as well, or
She gets.
is she
gets to
staying
go
off
on
to the
your
sidelines? Yeah.
If she only moves if you order her to.
Just going to double check what her fly speed is. So so what he'll do is he'll get her to fly around and do a single attack from behind.
Okay. She has the movement to get up there with her fly speed.
80 feet fly speed. So if she goes here, basically, and then comes down, it should be well within. So trying to bypass and then come around.
So she's going to move through his threat range to do that. Gotcha.
Is she?
He has a 10-foot threat range. So unless you're 5-footing in there, that second 5 foot is a possible AOO.
Okay. Well, actually, I think...
Really difficult when you don't have squares.
Yeah, and yeah. Actually, then what he'll have her do instead of doing an attack on this turn will be just to get to a spot behind.
Okay.
So
So
avoiding the threat range and going to that side and getting ready for the comeback.
is she to stay just outside his threat range or to stay or what?
To basically go above the threat range to get sort of to a safe position behind. Right? Sort of the parabolic arc idea.
Okay.
And then on the
She could get
next
over
round
him.
she can And then on the next round, she can sort of charge in.
Okay, so she can charge in next time. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Mazus, it's your turn.
Can I ask a question from my knowledge check?
Sure.
What are they in terms of saves?
What are they? Are you asking if they're more strong physically,
Yeah.
more agile, or if they
Pretty
are
much.
more strong-willed?
Or-
You know that they are not particularly. You know that what they're best at is things revolving around how well they handle their environment as far as physically. They're more physically resilient. They're not super dexterous or super willful.
All right, cool. Okay. He's going to cast Create Pit where the giant stands.
Okay.
Price drop.
Ooh, price drop. Yes,
Nice.
that's perfect.
So Gideon will have to make a reflex save, but he gets a bonus on his because he's at the edge of it.
It's a 10-foot hole, is it?
Yeah, it's a 10-foot, and then every square next to the 10-foot is a slope, so you have to roll reflex to not slide down, basically.
Okay.
So it's a DC 20 reflex.
For him or me?
For him, I believe.
Yeah, for him.
Oh, yeah.
You get a +2.
I rolled a natural 19, reflex of 8, so that's a 29 reflex save.
All right. So, he didn't roll that bad on his d20.
Mm-hmm.
What's the DC?
20? Yeah.
All
20.
right. So, surprisingly, this creature, as big and fat as he is, seems to also make his save to grab hold and move himself. Does that mean that he moves outside of the pit, or what?
Yeah, he has to move outside the pit.
Okay, so that seems like a spot he would jump to.
It would stand.
Would
like
that then-
it would stand because this is too big. It's only 10 feet, so he would stand within this
Oh, so he'd stand within the slope.
square. Yeah.
All right, so right about there then. All right.
Yeah, that's his turn.
Okay. I was surprised he made it too, so no worry. Well, he made it. Mazus, did you want anything to Erin to do anything, or do you want her to keep? She just kind of looks over, looks at you, keeps writing in the book unless you stop her.
This target practice, good target practice if you care for it. Otherwise, we'll handle it.
She kind of looks up, kind of goes like this, holds her arm out, and you see a shot of acid kind of go that way. And then leans back. She doesn't even wait to see if it hits. She just kind of goes and goes back to writing. So you can roll and see if she'll hit him with an acid splash. No, she wasn't paying attention. I mean, she's like, oh, yeah. So, there you go. All right, Wayko, it's your turn.
Wayko pokes his head up from the back of the cart and chucks a slumber hex at it.
Okay.
It's a 19 will save.
All right. So it starts to go. Does it fall immediately to sleep? I believe it does.
Yep.
Okay. So, as it's going like this, you hear it starts to hear something in its ears, and it starts to go. And I would walk 500.
Oh, yeah.
And flops down, asleep.
Does he flop into the pit?
Or Magpie. Waco's gonna sit back down where he was and stick his tongue back out at Mazes' apprentice, because there's where we left off.
She
We may
wipes the
resume
ink.
traveling.
She wipes the ink from her pen on your tongue as you stick it out, and it goes back to writing.
He just tries all as hard as he can to withstand making a face, and he goes, "It's okay, it's delicious."
She just looks at you as your teeth are all black. Mhm.
I love it.
Mm.
Have some more, please.
Joke's on you, bitch. I love it.
Henrietta's clucking to herself underneath your hat. So you have slumbered this person, this beast. You do see. Let me see.
Roll him into the hole and end the spell.
So what do you want to do? I mean, Gideon, it's his turn, but he's asleep. Does he
Might I
get to try to wake
recommend
up in the-
resuming the travel?
Oh, yeah,
Or you
that's
could
true.
bring down your godly rage and decapitate this innocent brigand?
No. You can't attack an opponent that's asleep. That's against the code of honor.
Oh yeah, isn't it? I guess we just have to continue traveling, don't we, Gideon? Hop on board. Come back on board.
Actually, think Iomade has anything about sleep.
No, he's just not supposed to be a dick, which would be totally a dick move to kill this sleeping fatty.
Have you seen some of what Iomade does in her crusades? She's not exactly
know.
nice about it.
Kinds of
He was-
sleeping
yeah,
fatties.
that was actually what was going to end up being. All right, Meg, I would like you to get your first kill with me.
Boo!
Ooh, initiating Meg.
I should have buffed
Dinner?
that ogre. You guys suck.
Well, we're going to make sure it doesn't have anything of use, but I cannot fault you for your instincts. Please. And he's going to have her coup de grace, the sleeping giant.
Well, see if he has any narcotics while you're at it.
Okay. It's a swamp. It's a marsh giant. Surely it's got some mushrooms in there somewhere.
Just pick him off his back.
Gets mighty boring in the swamp.
Lush fin.
Probably grows between his toes.
Lush fin.
Oh. All right.
Sometimes I eat my foot fungus and I have funny dreams.
See, that's one for the real without any context. Just Kane saying that. Put that on YouTube and leave it there.
That's the blooper reel right there. Just that one little snippet.
I'm gonna take you guys through a terrifying bayou adventure. It's gonna be like the latest. What's that video game series called?
Far Cry.
All right, so
We'll say
yeah,
Outlast,
he'll have Meg coup de grace the giant and search the body for anything of use or of anything of import.
So Meg
Oh, he might
says,
survive.
And if so, Gideon's there to finish the job.
Maximum crit damage? You'd better not.
So max crit damage needs to be rolled for Meg as she literally says, "For Iomade!" and plunges her head into his guts and rips out his liver, or attempts to.
Okay, so max
It's not max, it's just an automatic crit.
automatic crit. Okay,
Very Sisyphean.
and that would be just the standard one attack, or would full attack be all crit?
It's one attack.
Just one? Okay, that's fine. So she'll take her beak and go in. So, and that's going to be great. Max damage there. 6, 6. So 9, 18.
So it's a DC
18
28,
maxes.
fortitude or die.
DC 28 Fortitude.
Is,
Promethean. Very Promethean, not Sisyphean. Very different thing.
is there a D100 in there too?
No, I
Oh.
don't think so. If it's a coup de grace,
No,
it should just be a DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that would be really, really
Yeah,
bad
that'd
for you
be-
guys.
She
Yeah.
bites
I would
her
be-
head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what she does is, you see, we can probably switch the music back, and she kind of says, "For Iomade!" and plunges her head in, and you see it come back out with his liver, and she goes,
Whole head just covered in viscera like a condom.
You hear just kind of a muffled "gross" from the cart of a very annoyed Wayko.
So yeah, Gideon will do a quick search of the body to see if there's anything on there as well.
okay.
Apparently, he's the patron paladin of massacres and mazes. I don't know how you feel about taking cart rides with this guy. It seems like a long time to be in a cart with a guy who's that ready to just.
Crusades and yeah. Death
You
to
can't
all
just
evil.
say crusades like that explains
Oh, you know, Wayko.
That's been
As long
going
as we have a target to point him at, we are fine.
on. Okay, fair. We just need a direction to expend the energy.
Yes, something like that.
He just needs a he just needs a healthy outlet for his aggression. Okay.
Point him at evil. It's okay.
It's okay.
So
It's okay, Crusade. It's okay.
so he has that giant-sized gaff that you can use. Well, I don't know if you can use it, but he has a big gaff. He had a rock with him too, in a pouch. Nice big several rocks, probably the size of a soccer ball or something like that. And then he has a big old bag on him that you need to roll a D100 for. It's a bag that seems to be made out of skin for sure. Probably a big animal from the more marshy portion of the Yonder Bakari.
91.
91. Oh,
Nice.
you kind of dig around in there. There are some shrooms and stuff like that.
Wayko will be pleased.
And some sticks. But amongst the sticks, you kind of see one that's carved and purposefully made. You don't think he knew what it was because you kind of toss it to Mazus to get it identified. And Mazus, you find out that this is a wand of cure light wounds. Roll me a roll me a D20, if you would, Mazus, to find out how many charges are on it.
16.
16? Ooh, nice. 16 plus 15, 31 charges are on it.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
There you go. That's what you get for rolling high on the good tables. On the good table.
Oh, Mazus will dispel the pit, and I guess we travel on.
Okay.
Gideon's going to quickly use his lay on hands to heal himself.
So make me
Which
a
time?
perception. Everybody make me a perception roll as Meg goes in and slam and coup de grace this thing.
Perception roll? Sure.
Yeah.
19.
19. Okay. Anybody? What about Meg?
Wayko got 22. Big eyes.
22. Okie dokie. No one really sees much except for Wayko. Wayko, as you look, there's like a distortion not 15 feet from the creature as it's killed, but it's so fast you're not sure that you even saw it.
Can I cast Detect Magic? Just to be sure.
You can.
I cast Detect Magic.
You don't sense any magic, but there's something there that was invisible, and
Okay.
Seems to
Well,
be-
Wayko just assumes he's insane and resumes lying down.
Okay. All right then. And now we'll take a break as we let everybody to adjust what went on, and I will be back.
Oh, hey, Adam. Wayko was given the mushrooms by Gideon because Gideon's a good friend. And then because Wayko's a bad friend, he immediately ate them all.
Oh. Roll me a D100.
I just caught
Yay!
that.
Chaos! I got 59.
You are unconscious and
Yeah.
tripping for the next 59 hours.
Well, let's be
60 hours for 3 days?
Let's be honest here. I'm cool for about 15 minutes, and then for about 5 minutes, I'm freaking out, and then Wayko's just spacing out in the back of the thing. He's going like because he's still got ink in his mouth.
God.
All right. Don't expect me to
Is that-
slumber any more ogres, so you guys.
Does that count as a disease, or does that count as, what does that count as?
Poison?
Idiocy.
Tripping ball. Tripping balls.
This is what you get when you're raised by a hag.
Yeah, just make sure that the carriage doesn't stop moving and he won't go frolic anywhere.
Well, it has to stop moving sometime.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Down beneath his knee. Just old Beatles
He's got
playing
good
on
looking.
inside Wayko's head.
That's awesome.
All right.
Voodoo eyeball.
So
he got-
while Wayko sings, some people call me the space cowboy. Some call me the gangster of love. Some people
Some
call
people
me
call
Maurice.
me. Yep.
Yep.
Just like a solemn pause. Some people call me.
All right. So, still don't know where Tommy is yet. But all that aside, coming along, we get to. I'll come back here. The point where you guys came in. You don't see the lights anymore as you travel along and stuff like that. And it's all seems to be clear sailing after that. So Emmy, Gideon comes up to you and says, "You won't believe what happened with us on the way."
Emmy looks back at him and goes, "You won't believe what happened."
That's what I just said.
No, I mean, you won't believe it.
I was there.
Emmy's like probably has no, Magpie's probably the one with the egg at this point, but she just sort of like
He's
steps
penguining the
aside.
egg.
Yeah, no, you gotta support his head. I know it's the fat end. It's counterintuitive.
Emmy just sort of like steps aside and like lets Gideon get a good view of the magic egg that we have now.
Magic
Guys will not
multicolored
believe
egg.
the week we had.
Yeah.
That must have been one large chicken. Oh, Griffin, Meg, is that about the right size for you?
Ah, I don't know. I've never had any eggs.
What's it for?
It's ours.
With breakfast?
No.
Whoa!
Also, don't ever say that again. No, this is our boy, girl, child.
What? Well, that last week.
Like I said, you're not gonna believe the week we had.
He's actually going to roll a religion check and potentially, a religion check to see if there's anything that this would fall under, and or if he should be trying. He'll actually detect evil on the thing while he's doing this religion.
See if you need power
He's like,
attack.
And it's a natural 20 on the religion check.
"Oh, is it? What's
is a
that
good-
result?"
Don't kill this baby.
Which gives me an actual knowledge religion 24.
24. So,
Yeah.
it is a crit. So we'll go with that. This does not fall anywhere near Iomede's purview. Doesn't fall in a lot of the gods' purview that you're aware of, simply because this is not a natural thing to happen. First off, the breeding of these two creatures is not amongst the known things. When you do get them talking about Alceta and stuff like that, you did some studies a little bit of other deities in your squiring, and it actually turns out that you did a little bit of studying about Alceta as a elf goddess, just a little bit, and she is, as we said last time, the goddess of doors, transitions, and time. Teleportation and things like that fall under her purview quite well. And you're not sure, but you think that she sometimes has beings or creatures or things like that guard certain doors and doorways and help her. She works a lot in conjunction with Pharasma in guarding the gateways and the transitioning of life to death and back again. So it's possible that maybe this child has some kind of significance for Alceta in that way, but who knows?
Oh,
Your week beats ours.
Yeah, we win.
And Gideon, I learned who my father was. My father was an Agathion.
Again, I'm going to roll religion. I would know. Okay.
You would know. Yeah, we're just doing that
Okay,
that nat
just-
20 for this whole talk.
Very intriguing. I'm them all the law legalistic of the entities, are they not?
Yathians are normal, neutral.
They're neutral.
True neutral? Okay.
Neutral good, I think.
Yes.
So see sort of the both sides of the equation. Okay.
I think they're sometimes like negotiators between like chaotic good and lawful good. They sort of negotiate from what I read.
That's very interesting. Some celestial blood.
Yeah, I suppose so. That's this whole time
Which-
I thought.
I'm guessing then that this makes that egg very important.
Yep.
And not just because it's your child and everything like that. Of course, that makes them extremely special and wonderful and all those things as well. However, the Planar implications.
That is why we must protect it, says the
That's an excellent Nahkräs impression.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree. We had couple of visitors over our trek in terms of these lights again that flickered on and off. I hit one of them at one point, but it didn't stick around to actually fight. And then we had a run-in with a giant-esque creature. I think Mazus called it a swamp giant or something like that.
Emmy will see what she knows about swamp giants. 23.
For swamp giants? Well,
For
he
knowledge
said, that's what he
nature.
said it was.
Yeah.
That's what.
Gideon
I
doesn't
know
know what the
about
hell it is. He's repeating
Gideon.
third-hand information.
Again, like when you hear the word swamp giant, you don't need to usually be like, I wonder if it's a small fellow in the mountains.
Swamp thing.
Swamp giant. Giant in the swamp.
All right.
How many days did we travel with the wagon from Magnamar?
You made it there about when they were making it there, so about 6.5, 7 days.
Okay.
How long ago did we bump into the giant?
Wayko, your corset
3
is
days ago.
done.
Yeah.
So you're coming down off of a real. Waco's coming down off of a really long, really weird high.
Yeah, you like hand it to him and he just holds it up in the air before him and goes, thank you. It's like one pupil's getting a little bit bigger than the other pupil, and the other one's kind of like more. He's just a mess to look at, but he's grateful. Can't stop tearing up. Though.
I don't know
I
if
mean-
anybody here has ever been high for way too long, but
He's weeping buckets, and he's not sad at all. He's actually quite happy, but he cannot stop weeping. There's just tears
Hey,
everywhere.
Did you eat something you shouldn't have?
Gideon
I
actually
ate
will
everything you
expend
should have.
Gideon will actually tap him and expend a lay on hands on him for either the sickened or
Pulls back. He
disease.
goes, there'll be a fungus among us. He's got a
Right.
pencil roll away from you into the lap of Aaron, his great protector. Don't let the
He goes,
spacemen take me, Aaron.
Just hide under the book, and she puts the book directly on your face, so you'll shut up. And
And under the book, he's a.
and he's outlay light.
Yeah, he's asleep.
So Turtleback, huh?
This has been like the last
Yes.
3 days for Aaron.
So
They're bonding, really.
is Turtleback right where it's supposed to be? Like on the map, is that the Sonos Forest right by it?
actually, I can show you. I'll show you the Hook Mountain region, as
Okay.
well as I have a map for the town in just a minute. But let me show you the region first. Show the players.
Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah, it is right by the Sonos Forest. Okay, that's that's
On the other side, though.
yeah, it is on the other side, but it's that's the Sonos Forest. That's where Mama and Papa found me.
Oh. Like just in the woods?
Well, there was he said something about a gate to the first world. Apparently, I was left outside of it.
That sounds irresponsible.
Yeah.
That's all she's got for it. Yeah.
Yep.
So where are
Good
we
Mama
taking
and
Turtleback
Papa.
Ferry to?
We're so happy. You're going to Turtleback Ferry.
I know. Where are we
Yes.
taking Turtleback Ferry?
It's a place.
It's
Oh,
a
why is it called Ferry then? That's dumb.
Because of all the fairies who live there. Keep up.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Why would they spell it that way?
They also have a riverboat, Kane.
They're
Yeah.
also all functionally illiterate.
And they all have shells like turtles.
So,
Right, so we have to
There's-
inquire about the missing arrows, as they are.
Mhm.
arrows?
So,
Were they some magic arrows?
No, they are people referring to themselves as black arrows.
It's supposed to be some sort of reconnaissance or ranger team of some description sent to make sure that the area stays safe.
So,
Says Wayko.
Apparently, it's a little buggy.
Apparently.
so like off in the distance at Turtleback Ferry, is there like any smoke or anything like that?
Oh,
we're
I'm
not
making
exactly
attack
in the
rolls.
distance.
I'm gonna eat them.
You're gonna eat the pie.
Yeah, as Magpie's doing that, Emmy will take the egg so that he's like free to swat at whatever it is.
The swatting startles Wayko, who promptly slumbers Magpie.
Nah!
You gotta
Peck
roll a will
Wayko.
save. You pick Wayko on the way out.
Oh, he's definitely slumbering you.
No, that's what happens. That's how this whole event starts. I go for the fly because it lands on you, and I just peck you hard in the chest.
He freaks out, goes into full defense mode, threatening that you're a devil carousel, whatever that means.
So you do that. Meg yells, Mazus! Master Mazus! They spilled the ink!
Not Meg, the other one.
Yeah, I was like,
It'll be Aaron. Nevertheless, Waco's covered in ink and flip it out.
We'll save 22.
Alright.
Yes, you are still awake, but
they
are rapidly
it,
getting
they
ink
buy it.
splattered on you with flaily little sylph hands.
Well, then, prestidigitation it off. Magic pants.
I can't do that. It's too close to the moon.
Emmy will help. She'll clean up the ink with prestidigitation.
You're a good
She,
father,
uh, So, Aaron's, thank you. I'm very glad you're back. She says, glancing at Wayko and just everybody.
So, the baby is here, and she just sort of cradles the egg in her arms, showing Aaron.
Oh, Aaron seems quite confused. You can tell she wants to hold the egg, but she's unsure about actually doing that and how to do it right, and basic nervous stuff that single people usually have when dealing with babies.
That's not just single people. It's anyone who doesn't have kids.
I
Yeah.
will hold your little house, Magpie.
Ah, the little girl I trust. You need to sober up.
Sober what?
into town we go.
Yeah,
Into the town we go. So you guys,
Emmy will let Aaron hold
and-
the egg for a little bit and sort of give her a little bit of direction, comfort her, the like.
And Gideon will full on go to the first couple people he sees, start asking about, the black arrows and if there's anybody who knows anything about them, or if they've seen anybody potentially by the name of Thane. Looks very similar to me, but a little smaller, a little less muscular. Instead of a full beard, a goatee.
okay. So
And I'm going to try to use diplomacy, and this time it's a better roll, so that gives me a 23 for diplomacy versus an 8.
okay. So anybody that wants to can poke around with Gideon.
Yeah.
While I describe Turtleback Ferry. So Turtleback Ferry is definitely a small village. For what it does, it is out in the boonies for sure, based upon what you've seen in the map and based upon those other things. Mainly dirt roads. There's not a lot of cobblestone here. Mainly the one leading in is the cobblestone one, which is the Old Sanos Way, I think is what the road is, or Old Sanos Road, or whatever it was. And it's a small township that is perched on the rain-drenched north shore of Clay Bottom Lake. 3 distinctive ferries crafted from the shells of giant turtles slain by one of the local heroes of that time, Autek Laverty, one of the town's founders, made Turtleback Ferry the central trading town for the region. Nearly 80 miles from Ilsurian, the next town of similar size, Turtleback Ferry has nominally been under Magnamaran rule for 45 years. An arrangement the settlement agreed to in return for protection from the region's ogres and ogre kin. And it's what you would expect to find. Who else was helping with Emmy help gather information?
Could have done much better. Could have.
It will be a diplomacy. So 1, 2, 3 people. It's not too hard.
I was gonna say I may not be allowed at the moment, but I did roll a natural 20.
Oh.
It's all right. I'm gonna assume he's still relatively incapacitated, but that's fantastic.
So Gideon finds someone responsible looking. Emmy talks with a couple people that are in the area, but not necessarily the most knowledgeable of what the goings on might be. Mazus finds someone as he's tooling around, probably in a shop or something like that. Probably in either at the Clay Bottom Ferry or Iron Tooth's Metal Goods. Now, he probably would have talked to Winda Leany at the Turtleback General Store. So Mazus talks with Malin Shreed at the Church of Erastil, which, if you have your map up, is going to be number 6. And Winda Leany is at Turtleback General Store, number 5. And Emmy talks with, who would she just bump into? She bumps into how about that? She'll bump into Tilia Hinkinson, who is the local school barm. So, with all of your information gathered about, you find out that yes, the Black Arrows have been around, but they've been missing. They hadn't been heard from in about 2 weeks at least, which is odd, because the weather these past 2 weeks has been good. Well, actually now, since you've traveled a week, it would probably be closer to 3 or 4 weeks, they'd say.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. So about 3 or 4 weeks. The person of interest for Gideon was actually seen by Meister, what would you call him? We'll call him the priest. Priest Shreed at the Church of Erastil. He came in, talked with him confidentially about what his real mission was to gather information. Feeling that he could trust a fellow believer in a god of honor. And the Malin seems fairly clueless as far as what's going on with that, but he does point you in the direction of both the Turtle's Parlor. He says it's run by an innkeeper, Sestin Orlandi, and as well as Bottoms Up, which is a tavern run by a rather gregarious couple of halflings, Yads and Berthany Kesker. And since you guys all rolled, everybody that rolled, Wayko doesn't talk to anybody, really. What he does is Wayko kind of wanders out of the wagon for a little bit, sits down by the ferry, and coincidentally sits down by the town drunk. It's like, what time would it be? It's like, probably 2 in the afternoon, and the dude's sauced already.
Nice.
So I need everybody that rolled a diplomacy to also roll me a d12. No repeat numbers.
Well, I got a 9, but I'm chatting with the drunk.
11, 9,
Got 8.
8.
Roll again.
We both have 11, so I guess I roll again.
Yep.
Here we go. 1.
So 11, 9, 1, and 8. Okay. So, Gideon, you hear that the dam up north between Storval Deep and Skull River might be haunted by all those who have drowned in the hereabouts. The skulls carved into the dam let ghosts watch you when you approach. That's kind of what Malin's heard. Mazus, while talking with Miss Leany, you hear that the Paradise sunk. The Paradise was not exactly a pleasure boat. It was more of a gambling establishment, but it was called Paradise, and it sunk. It was a rather tragic thing, Leany says. But she personally says good riddance. I know it ain't nice to wish ill on no one, but I hope that strumpet Lucretia's at the bottom of the lake as well, tarting around with her chest all pushed out and flashing leg and every other step. That type of walk might go over well in Corvosa, but we're respectable folk here. Wouldn't be surprised if to find out the Paradise sunk on accident of her on account of her bringing down a Rastil's judgment on the whole sinful lot of them. That's what Mazus finds.
Where and when did this occur?
Oh, not long ago. It happened, let me see, probably 4 weeks, maybe a little less.
And where? Just outside of the Turtleback Ferry, or?
Yeah, right over there near, let me see. They don't actually tell me where it's saying. So we're going to say right over there, not far from, right on Clay Bottom Lake, not in the Skull River. And then...
No attempts of salvaging or anything has been done?
Well, I mean, people have tried to dive down in there and get the gold. We think we got it all. We put it in the town treasury.
Gold? Did you say gold?
Oh, yes. Well, yes. Of course there was gold. I mean, come on now. It was a gambling establishment, and there was pleasure women in there. At least that's what I think Lucretia was, based upon how she was flaunting her wares, if you know what I mean.
Oh, all too well. But you wanted her ill, but you don't know if she perished in the accident or...
No, we don't know.
That's very strange. I would assume that any survivors would return back to the town.
Well, there's strange things in those waters at Clay Bottom Lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She kind of parses up a little bit about it when she talks about it that way.
Could you elaborate?
And she kind of looks around, makes a little like superstitious sign with her hands. Says, "I don't think that's a good idea. But you can certainly purchase anything you need here at Turtleback General Store."
Oh yes, of course. I do have some bit of a sea legs, and I know the curses of telling the salty stories and such. But really, if there's anything of good information you can give us, that it could really benefit you in turn, I can assure you.
You can roll me another diplomacy to see if she'd change her tune.
It's annoying.
No, she doesn't really want to talk about it. You hear her kind of just mumble some stuff about the Black Maga, but that's about it.
Who is the head of this? Who runs this village? Who has the authority?
Oh well, that's the mayor. Well, he's the priest and the mayor. That's Malin Shreed over there at the temple.
Oh, both the crown and the church, huh?
Well, there's not that many people here who seem the most qualified. So,
still, that's a lot of authority to to one man.
I suppose so. He's been good to us, though.
Has he been in charge for a long time?
Little while. He's not a young man.
I see.
Previous mayor passed away, several years ago, and he just kind of took up the mantle.
Well, your bustling town seems to be doing well, so...
Hell, we like it here.
Yes, there's a certain appeal to it, I'm sure. And with
Alright.
it tries to get out of the conversation with that.
She does try, she kind of like, do go ahead and get what you need now. And then you're, getting close to the door.
Oh, yes.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Browsing your wares. I forgot
yes,
my
yes.
wallet.
Oh. She laughs at that. And lets you get away. Emmy, you didn't find anybody to get a lot of information from. The basic information about the Black Arrows, of course, is, like we said, they haven't been heard from in several, like 3, maybe 4 weeks. And it's been that way because as far as they know, they got to take care of those ogres up there and stuff. But you do get a certain bit of information that Black Maga is what they whisper. They say the monster of the Stroval Deep doesn't stay in that lake. Underwater tunnels connect it to Clay Bottom Lake. And she comes down here to eat fishermen now and then. I'm sure that whatever happened to the paradise, Black Maga came down and gobbled up those filthy sinners, says the schoolmarm.
What exactly kind of creature is the Black Maga?
Well, people don't talk about it much. People that have seen it can't talk about it because there's a curse that goes round. There's a curse that anybody who sees it and talks of it, which I hadn't seen it, so it can't affect me, get the black tongue. So you won't hear much about it. It's said that it's got like a long head and neck and tendrils and all these type of things. Now, I don't put much stock in that, in all the legends, being someone of reading, but even the craziest myths are based in fact somewhere.
If people can't talk about it, then where do the stories come from? I'm sure there's got to be some sort of source, a book or something.
Probably from those that did and didn't live to regret it. That's my 2 cents on that. Besides, you go looking for them those people that those Black Arrows, they're going to keep you busy enough, probably. No need for you to be messing around with Black Maga.
Emil nod and thank her, and I suppose move on. I guess I'll try some sort of knowledge to figure out what kind of creature it could be based on the description she gave. I'm sure there's a variety of things that would give me a better idea.
Okay.
Nature and Arcana. If it's either of those.
Okay. From what you're understanding, it's probably not a natural creature. There's not a lot of natural creatures that have tendrils that are in freshwater lakes.
Gotcha.
Even in fantasy settings. So the likelihood that it's either not native to this area, at least, or possibly different or magical or otherworldly or something, are likely.
Okay, she will try to pocket that description in her head so she can repeat it as close to verbatim to Mazus.
Okay. And finally, Wayko. Wayko got an 8. So the town drunk says, "There's been some weird lights in the lake, across the lake by the slimmer glens lately. Today, they don't show up all the time, but now and then you can see them in the early dawn hours moving around like they're some bunch of people over there carrying around lanterns and dancing and stuff. The place is haunted, I tell you.
He would be saying the truth, for he is the magic man of the moon, marvelous as he may be, to drag me back to that crooked seaside sanctuary by the sea. Not today, magic man, he points at him. I'll not go
He
in the
looks at you.
mother's stew. You'll go in the mother's stew before I go in the mother's stew. Wait, lights? He looks out across the lake. You say lights? He's thinking of, through all the muddly madness, he's thinking of the lights we saw by the carriage and wondering if transiently so.
All right. So there you go. Those are the rumors and the information that you find. Also regarding the black arrows, they say that they're not particularly, personable or anything like that, but they're good people. They do what they can to help their surrounding area. So while not while the opinion is generally positive, they're also kind of jerks that are nice type thing.
Gotcha.
Do they live in the fort? Like, what is the relationship with them and the town?
With them in the town, you would know that they definitely live in the fort. Most of the time when they need supplies, they'll place an order at the general store or at the ferry. If it needs ordered, they have to go and make sure that it can be carried by the ferry sometimes, especially if they're needing supplies of large things for the fort itself. So, yes, the town.
But they don't
itself,
come down. They don't come down to the town and get drunk and whatnot.
Not normally. They do have kind of a rotation that they run through. So they've met most everybody that's in the Black Arrows. They make sure to tell you. You do get the names of a few of them. So let me go ahead.
I would
and
like
get
to know
that
how
for you.
many there are as well.
There was like 50 of them at least. There's Jakardos Sovark. Jakardos Sovark. There's Vale Timros and Cabin Windstride are three names that you hear dropped specifically as being part of the Black Arrows.
They know who their leader is.
That would be Jakardros. It's probably said Jakardos. Sovark.
Depends on how it's spelled, I
have.
suppose.
That's a weird one to spell. I'm gonna share his stuff with you because that's a weird name. Show to players. There you go. I'll share those three and their name. I'll show those three for their names with you.
Jakardros. That's how I'd pronounce it, but that's just me.
Jakardros. Jakardos. I don't know. Somebody in the comments, if you want to correct our statement, go ahead.
I think you would
We don't
add.
care.
I think you would add a D in front of the J, just like you do in Japanese. So it's
Jakardos.
Jakardros.
Jakardros. It's that DROS thing they got going on. Anyway, so these are the three guys that you kind of get the information about.
Cool.
Yeah, you get specific information about three of them.
Oh, there's the other one.
I also need perception checks from everybody that's been walking around, looking around and stuff, which would probably be everybody. So
No, I keep my eyes closed. It's all the time.
Only when I have my blindfold. But I don't have that yet.
It's next on the list.
Man, I'm on fire today.
I got a 12.
Sitting at that juicy 31. Walking around with my egg.
Wayko's apparently has some sort of meta awareness of everything going on. Not anything he can act upon, but it's there.
So stoned that he's transcending.
3 days is a
Okay.
long time.
Yeah, that's too long. That's far too long.
That's what happens when you eat all the mushrooms at one time.
That were in a giant's bag.
Yeah.
That was his afternoon.
Yeah. All right. So let me see. Magpie, you're here for about a day. You know, you guys are looking around, checking things out for about a day, stocking up on anything you might need to go to the fort and so on, getting information. And doing so, you find Magpie's the only one who really sees it. But that Sihedron symbol, like the one of protection that Nahkräs is wearing, that you guys got off the Lamia, it's actually tattooed on some of the people. They cover them up, but like a lot of people for such a small town have it.
I'm gonna, yeah. When I can get everyone together again, I'll sort of, maybe when we're all talking at the end, I'll like lean over the table and be like, so every like a bunch of people in the town are wearing that weird seven-pointed symbol like tattooed on them, and he points to the amulet that Nahkräs is wearing or carrying with him. I don't know if he's actually wearing it.
He's wearing
If
it.
he wants, yeah, if he wants to boost in protection, he better be wearing it. So
Yeah, his cloak resistance is on his next slot.
got it. So that's what you see, and Magpie does point it out. And when you watch for it, you know you can actually see it under certain people's cloaks. Like the drunk had it, for sure. None of the quote respectable people that the others talked to had it. But no one talked to the. What was that? No one talked to the others that were there, like Yaz and Berthandy, the two halflings. As you're watching, Yaz kind of has one. Berthandy doesn't, but Yaz kind of does. And then there's several of the patrons do.
This is certainly alarming, considering the significance that it may hold.
Now,
Yeah,
correct me
this
if I'm
town
wrong,
just got like
and
300%
Gideon's
creepier.
Gideon's actually going to pull the letter out that was between to Zanesha, because, you know, going more meta here, Greg was looking at the note as you were reading the things off and remembering a whole lot of things. Does this not alarm you? Speaks here specifically of Fort Rannoch being under the control. A little town full of sinners, ripe for the taking.
Yes, and some of this.
This is like one massive ritual that they're going to try to take everybody's soul.
There's also the ship that was supposedly filled with sinners.
And supposedly a haunted dam.
And
Do you think they sunk the ship on purpose?
I don't know,
Bear
but
with me,
they talk about this sea monster of sorts, or well, I guess it's not really the sea, but it's supposed to come over here from the lake down the way.
Bear with me. I'm going to try talking to the purveyors. And Gideon will get up and walk over to the bar and try to sort of butter up the owners.
Don't be weird about it. No,
Don't be weird about it. Don't be weird about it.
don't be weird
Be
about
cool.
it.
Just be
Now
cool.
that they're clearly evil, crazy people.
You know, just sort of, he's gonna try to butter him up by talking shop, talking about his experiences at the Rusty Dragon as a child and coming back to it as an adult, and sort of asking how they enjoy things and what have you. 21 roll.
Yeah, Emmy is detecting magic on
Alright.
those tattoos during the process.
Maybe something faint on the tattoos. Maybe.
And Gideon will actually detect evil. Because
Okay.
Paladin.
Okay. So you detect evil on just like The whole bar, or on the?
No, the two people. The person I noticed has the tattoo. The purveyor. I can't remember the name off the top of my head here.
Yeah. Why?
Yes.
So, let me see. What am I? Let's do this with all the halflings. Oh yeah, we got a lot of stuff down there. You mean, so you basically, to paraphrase, you lead it around to what's that thing on your neck type thing? Like a tattoo.
More along the lines of, yeah, it's basically sort of roundabout, and come around to the whole idea that as a public face and as a purveyor of a public establishment, my parents always yelled at me anytime I thought of getting a tattoo. How did you manage that? How does it work for your business?
Oh, well, it's kind of right. Oh, this thing right here?
Yeah.
I got that when the Paradise was here. Gave you credit and special bennies when you went in. But now it sank, so I got this tattoo for nothing. It's weird, too. It was, like, going great. I had plenty of... She doesn't like it when I take the funds to gamble, so I gotta get my own tips to gamble. Which is...
Well,
That's because you don't need to gamble, Ned. You're a terrible gambler.
If you don't mind my asking, my good fellow, who was the one who recommended that tattoo? It's just my compatriots and I have been adventuring for the last few months and have run across that symbol in a number of well, to be completely honest, rather unsavory positions and circumstances.
Oh, really? That's unfortunate.
Yes.
We just got it because of that lady Lucretia, the one that ran the Paradise. She, if you had the tattoo, it was like a member's mark, and if you had the tattoo, you got special bennies.
That's very interesting.
Plus, it looks kind of cool, don't it? I mean, it's got like 7 things on it. Looks pretty neat. I just
understandable. It's if I may, from my understanding, it's well, it's used in a lot of rituals, to be completely honest. It was actually used in a number of, well, very unfortunate events in Magma and Sandpoint recently.
Oh, really? That's a
yes.
coincidence.
Very, if I may, what did this woman look like? This Lucretia.
Well, she was tall. I mean, look at. She's taller than us. So she was, tall. She had red hair, kind of like your friend over there. Kind of red like that. Are you transformed or untransformed?
She is in her Kitsune form right now.
Okay, so you've gotten some strange looks.
Of course.
The school marm was kind of standoffish at first, but your charm got through to her. Yeah, she was got really pale skin and red hair like your fox over there, like that type of red. And she wore these dark dresses, and she had he kind of looks at as if his wife's watching. She had like these big bosoms, Like, I'm not into tall, but those were nice. The legs were too much, But that was good. I told you, no panhandling outside of our thing. Get out of here.
Thank you very much for your time. A lot of people have the same mark.
Oh yeah, lots of people got it. I mean, you don't really show it off now. Well, you don't really show it off anyway. It's just a members mark thing, so and it all worked out. I guess I'm gonna have to do something with it though. Maybe get some decorations along the side. I could go totally up the neck. You're not getting something all the way up your neck. Aw, come on. It looked really cool. It's it'd be the bee's knees having it like that right up to the neck. No, you're not going all the way up your ear.
Thank you for the information, my good sir. Now, if I may, if you can keep an ear out for any unusual goings on, my compatriots and I are actually, we're trying to see if anything untoward has happened recently. The Lord Mayor of Magma usually gets some information from Fort Rannick, and he was a little disconcerted, but that hasn't come down recently.
Yeah, we've been noticing that too. I mean, usually they kind of rotate in and out because they get, one goes on leave, the other goes back in type thing on certain of the ranges. But It's weird. We hadn't had that type of traffic in about 3 weeks or so, which is should have had somebody. But yeah, we're glad you're going up there. You say the Lord Mayor sent you from Magnemar?
Yes, we did a bit of work actually in regards to the mark that you're showing me. I don't mean to freak you out or cause me undue alarm, but it was used actually in a number of ritual murders.
Oh, really? What?
Yes.
And then they look at each other and like, oh, that's too bad. Man, why would they take our little... Why would somebody take our little mark and run off with it?
As far as I'm aware, I don't know how long you've had it here. Just be careful, please. Would hate to see anything happen. But please, we will definitely see. Does Lucretia doesn't have any no compatriots, companions, associates?
Well, I mean, some of the Black Arrows went down there. It's a popular place. There's not many places to gamble out this way that have, like, actual tables that you can use. Plus, I think some of them enjoyed the ladies' company in certain ways, you know what I mean? Not judging, not judging. We're just purveyors of a tavern.
Of course. Very good, my good.
That's not bad.
Thank you. I very much appreciate the information.
Yeah, and you find out who's messing with our my little mock thing, because I like the the 7 things and the stuff like that. That's pretty cool. I don't want them spreading that around. I'll get a bad name on me.
Oh, well, certainly. Thank you. And Gideon will go relay that information back to the group.
So,
Okie dokie.
what did they say?
Well, to be completely honest, they say it's a mark for membership into some sort of gambling establishment run by Lady Lucretia.
The one that
Oh,
sank.
it sank.
I get a very sneaking suspicion that this is not all it's meant to be.
Well,
If that mark is being used as a ritual, part of the ritual for souls or ritual murder, do you think that anybody marked here is being marked for death?
supposedly, it seems like they are targeting people of unsavory qualities, should we put it. And if we are to believe that everyone that gambles are a sinner or an unsavory person, every person that gambles has his mark, every person with a mark is chosen.
That makes sense, actually. Branding gamblers with a symbol, they're like, that's greed, right?
I suppose.
Emmy sort of nods and she hopes Mazus knows something about this creature.
Yeah, Mazus is like drawing a ridiculous monster out of the description on a napkin. And,
Yeah.
and you got the rolls there. He's racking his brain trying to like get something concrete out of it.
Okay.
No, multiple tentacles. Yes, of course. Laser eyes. Yes.
It's from Japan.
Laser eyes. Lots of tentacles, laser eyes, flat head.
Poisonous
Radiation,
stinginess.
question mark?
Kang Protos.
So as you start to think about it and work your brain over, when she starts talking about Black Magga, Magga, you start to kind of get something, and as she describes it a little bit, you do get some information from your brain, and then it kind of comes back to you. Yeah, I read about that one time in local legends of the area, of the Storval Deep. It was a random book you found once during those times that you got to actually study and study and look at things. It was a damaged copy you had found, and it didn't have a lot of information, but what it did say is it gave the myth of the Black Magga. So fisherfolk and woodsmen who have ventured near the Storval Deep have long told tales of a fell monster rising from the depths. About below are a few commonly held but not substantiated necessarily beliefs about the Maga that you don't necessarily know what's true, what's not. This is the myth. It's thought to be tied to an ancient empire, perhaps, at the times around that area. And she was said to be at the height of her power at that time. There's a suspicion about the Black Tongue. Many who have seen Black Maga and lived can never speak of their experiences. Supposedly, when they attempt to tell the tale, black blood wells from their throats and into their mouths, choking their words. Thus, far fewer claim to have seen Black Maga than actually have. There's an idea that if you take Black Maga, and she's believed to be older than some of the gods, and divine magic is said to have little effect whatsoever on her strange form. So, anyone who cuts Black Maga's heart from her vile chest and bathes in its putrescent blood will likewise become invulnerable to the power of the gods. It is so said. And then the third legend that you remember reading about her was that she has the legend of Black Maga, the Stormbringer. Sightings of Black Maga often herald powerful storms and hurricanes. It is said that the beast summons these storms to pull victims into her watery domain, whereupon she captures them, consumes them, and transforms them into monstrous vermicular horrors. So those are the myths and legends that you've read about Black Maga.
Oh, it's quite the handful.
So there you go.
Don't even need the Sirenscape. We got chickens.
Yeah.
It's like we're in the Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Just don't hit too many of them.
Yep. Okie dokie.
Well, if I might put an idea forward as to did they say how far the dam was, and in which direction it would have been?
The dam? Let's pull up
Yeah.
that map real quick.
The one that was supposedly haunted.
So, let me make sure I get you the right info.
Is it that
So-
bridge almost, or is it towards the Bitter Hollow?
Right, Storval Deep is right is right there. Skull's
Yeah.
Crossing is right about where that dam would be.
Which is on the way to Fort Rannoch. Well, Fort Rannoch's on the way, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, but you said the ship sunk in the Clay Bottom Lake.
Yeah, it was supposedly
Paradise.
taken by the Black Maga. I wonder if the ritual has something to do with it.
Personally, I don't believe. Again, the letter says that it's rife with sinners, it's rife for the taking, and that they should have Fort Rannoch by the time this letter arrived there.
So perhaps going into Fort Rennick, we should be prepared for the worst.
I'm thinking that this cult of whatever the hell this is has something to do with this. That the sinking can't be coincidental or not as part of their plan. Do you think there's something in there?
There could certainly be something.
You know,
Here's my problem. Do you know if Lamias can breathe underwater?
Well, they might have magic that would let them breathe
Yeah.
underwater.
It's just too good of a coincidence that the one ship that sinks about 4 weeks from now, 4 weeks ago, is the one where all the people are being branded.
You know, do you also think it's a coincidence that there's the Black Maga, the Black Tongue, and the Black Arrows? I wonder if there could be a connection with the names somehow. It seems like...
Well, the Black Maga is supposedly ancient, is it not, Mazus? Would be coming from before the Black Arrows.
Black is a very
they
common.
worship it.
Yeah, I think maybe people just think black is a cool color, but you might be onto something.
Well, all I understand
Says
is they
the
were not
Black
about
Bird.
yeah.
Hey, I'm saying black is a cool color. I'm just don't lump me in with them.
The only concern I have is how do we reach this shipwreck?
Oh, with a ship of our own?
But should it not be at the bottom of the lake?
Perhaps we
It
should
would be.
go to Fort Rannoch first and
And just to,
investigate.
Yeah, that boat will be there when we come back.
yes.
Part of what Gideon did find out is that as far as the mayor priest knows, your person that was coming to check on things, this person, he didn't give his real name. He simply called himself Greg. Was heading up to Fort Rannoch.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Of course he did. So he was going to head up to Fort Rannoch and try and see if he could make contact with the Black Arrows, since they are the kind of peacekeeping force in this area.
And plus, it would be a good idea to see if we can find that. Was he a cleric? Was he a paladin? Was he an inquisitor? What was he?
He did not. He didn't specify. Dance didn't specify what he was.
An agent
Okay.
of
He
the
just
church.
said
An agent of the church has made his way
sometimes
towards
it's
Fort
better
Rannoch
not
as well.
to ask.
He's a slayer. Agent of the church is on his way to Fort Rannoch itself, and they hasn't heard from him either. Perhaps we make our way towards it.
Yeah, I'm all for rooting out evil and doing the good, but like, dear, what do we do about the kid? I don't feel comfortable taking him into what is apparently giant/ogre territory.
Supposedly the child is protected by Elseta herself, so I think.
Well,
our
what
biggest
I
concern
heard
is
was
keeping
that our
ourselves
life
alive.
force was bound to it.
So the whole idea is that we don't die.
Yeah, but what if it dies? Do we die?
I think it's the other way
Perish.
around.
Trying to find out.
Just like perish the thought, but like out of the three of us, you have magic, I have a sword. It has egg.
What if it siphons your life to it?
Ooh, well, yeah, that would still kill us, man. Like that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
No, I'm just saying that it's slowly draining your life force.
I'm gonna get that backup character one way or another.
Well, we have to keep it close to us, and to be honest, with all the weird markings here, I don't feel much more comfortable at Turtleback Ferry than anywhere else.
So what do we strap it to our chests?
Or you could potentially have it in the cart with us. So on the wagon itself.
Well, yeah, my problem isn't that. It's what happens when we have to leave the cart.
What do you mean, leave the cart?
I mean, leave the cart outside. We're not gonna drive it through the fort.
No, we'll park it in the parking lot, of course.
Valet.
All right. You guys get to discuss this over the next week on what you want to do and try to accomplish. For now, we're going to call it for tonight. Much for our players to think about and how to pursue. Is there anything that needs brought before the viewers before we sign off tonight?
No, I'm still mostly broke. Unless I can
Okay.
get grenades here.
You get 750 gold.
That's far from broke. That's like 750 days work. That's over a year's salary or a year's work for the average worker. You rich, man, even with 750. All right. If there's nothing else, do remember Tommy's giveaway. Do remember both of our Patreons. And as always, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.